My name's Joe McGovern. I'm the president of the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. Here to thank you for coming, but also just celebrate nature and celebrate everything that the Neffs have done. Our history in Jefferson County runs really deep. We were formed in 1979 by then Governor Ray to help serve the communities and serve conservation boards and serve the DNR and serve the people. Our very first project, number one, is Whittam Woods, and we're very proud of that partnership with the County Conservation Board and Daisy Whittam, who had donated that. So that was almost 38 years ago, and here we are today, celebrating yet another partnership of private landowners, public conservation, and our nonprofit. Very quickly, just to kind of give you an idea of who the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation is, we serve really three. Our mission is to protect and restore land, water, wildlife, and we serve really three constituents. And two of those constituents are voiceless. One is you. We are here to serve you, people of Iowa, and provide and help and do our part in partnership to provide nature, clean water, land, all of that. But the two that are voiceless, if you're quiet, you can hear them. It's the birds and the frogs and the trees that you can't hear. They cannot advocate for themselves. They can only accept the world we give them. So this wetland, the frogs have to accept that wetland as we give that. And so that's why we collectively have to make this happen. We have to advocate for these things, we have to create them, we have to make sure that they stay when they're here, so the preserve and so forth. But the other voiceless that have to accept the world we give them are the unborn, the people that aren't here yet. So if you think about those people, they're going to have to accept the world we give them. We can do something about it today, and that's why we're here, is to celebrate and to thank those that are making that difference, that are going to pass on a world that has this. So for that, I just want to thank the Neffs personally. I want to thank all of you who are out here today to celebrate. All of you who advocate for conservation, clean water, wildlife. This is what it's about. So just very pleased to be here, very grateful and very humbled. I want to just turn it over to Ross Baxter, our land projects director, just quickly give you kind of a snapshot of how we were involved in this project. So thank you.
Hi, as Joe mentioned, my name is Ross Baxter with the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, almost 6 years now. And last spring, Joe forwarded an email to me and said, Dave Neff wants to talk about protection of his property, can you get a hold of him? And so I get a hold of Dave and we set up an appointment. I come down and really the first step you take on the property, it's like, this is a project that INHF wants to be involved in. It's clear it's one that provides wildlife habitat, but also, connection for people to that habitat. In riding around with Dave on the properties, he gave me a tour about all the different things that they'd worked on over the years. It was really clear the amount of sweat equity that they had in the property and the pride that they took in the management of it. And they want that management to continue, with the community and with Jefferson County Conservation Board. I think the beauty of this place is that, you can come out here, you can see geese, you can see ducks, you can see snapping turtles, painted turtles, snakes and frogs. And it's so close to the city. Most wildlife areas that the foundation works on, while they're terrific, they don't have this opportunity for, just instant connectedness to humans. People can go out to those, but it's not often we get the opportunity to work on a property that people can ride their bikes to or walk to from their house. And so I think that's kind of a special point with this property in particular. And I'm especially excited about, what it'll provide for kids. I've got 2 young boys and a third one on the way. And, this is the type of place that children are going to develop that love for the outdoors that hopefully, us as conservationists will want to see them carry forward into the future. And so I think, this is really the perfect project. And I want to thank, Dave and Sheri for their work on the property and, for their vision in providing a place like this for the citizens of not only Fairfield, but of Iowa. So, thanks.
Lewiston.
Am I up?
You're up. Jefferson County Conservation Director.
Well, it's too bad we didn't have a nice day for this. I'm Dennis Lewiston, the director of the Jefferson County Conservation Board. And I just want to give you a little brief history about the Conservation Board. Back in 1955, there was enabling legislation to create local county conservation boards. In order to do that, each county had to pass a resolution with 60% of the vote in favor of doing this. On the ballot says, do you wish your county have a county conservation board? You check yes or you check no. Well, since then, all 99 counties have formed a board. Jefferson County got their conservation board back in 1972. And at that time, the Board of Supervisors were mandated to appoint 5 board members to serve on this board, and they're the policy-making body. Our current board members, a couple of them are here, Kathy Tollenier, Gene Parker, who's actually a charter board member, and I have 2 staff members here, Sean Morrissey, our operation manager, and Therese Kaminsky, our naturalist. Since 1972, the Conservation Board has acquired and manages over 1,400 acres, 12 areas, including this area now. We have 3 campgrounds. We manage and maintain over 20 miles of trail. We have over 800 acres of public hunting areas available. And then in addition, we have an excellent environmental education program headed up by Therese that we have hundreds of school kids and adults every year attend our programs. So the unique thing about county conservation boards is that there's no 2 programs exactly alike. Jefferson County, I would say, has about an average amount of campgrounds and wildlife areas. Some county conservation boards don't have any campgrounds. They strictly deal with wildlife areas. So every county board in the state of Iowa is a little bit different. This area here is going to be an excellent addition to our program, and Therese is going to be using it for environmental education, wetland programs, and we appreciate the efforts of the Heritage Foundation and obviously Dave and Sheri Neff for giving this opportunity to manage this piece of property and actually own it. So we appreciate that. I appreciate the Heritage Foundation. Like was mentioned, Lamson Woods was our first project, or was the Heritage Foundation's first project. Lamson Woods, if you know, it's on the west part of Fairfield. We just recently renovated a pond. The foundation actually owns that area to this day, so we are in a management lease agreement with that. The foundation has also helped us acquire land in Jefferson County Park. We, back in the 90s, before REAP, we had land available, but we couldn't buy it because we didn't have any money. So when REAP came available, we had some funds, so the foundation went in and bought, which is now the shelter number 3 area and the pond area that's 20-some acres. The foundation bought that for us, and then we paid them back over a number of years with our REAP allocation. So we've been partners with the foundation for a long time, and we appreciate their efforts. Again, I want to thank Dave and Sheri for this wonderful gift, and it's going to be a wonderful area for years to come for the citizens of Jefferson County to enjoy. Thank you.
This is a great turnout. Thank you so much for the outreach that you've provided and the enthusiasm that we have had. The mayor, Ed Malloy, just pulled in on his bicycle, so thank you for stopping along the way here. We have a number of other folks from the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. Abby Terpstra is one of their coordinators, and Joe, public relations on that, so wonderful. Thank you so much. I'd like to give you a little bit of a background here as to why these things have happened. I had the good fortune of growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, and then I came to Parsons College in 1965, but I'll give you just a snippet of Cleveland. I mentioned to Joe earlier, there is a called the Emerald Necklace, the Cleveland Metropolitan Park System. It's been around for 100+ years. It basically encircles the city of Cleveland from the east side on Lake Erie all the way around to the south and then to the west. And so everybody is not more than 20 minutes away from a linear park in the city of Cleveland. We were fortunate enough to grow up where we were only 5 minutes away, and we would picnic as we were small children, like read David Luck over here, and we'd go and picnic, and then later on we got bigger for the bicycles and we'd ride up and down next to the creek. And anyway, that was my first real exposure to what was going on with Cleveland Metropolitan Parks. After Parsons closed, I had the privilege of attending University of Iowa in recreation education for a graduate degree, and that instilled even further for me the reason to share with people going forward. I had also the honor of being the Park and Rec chairman for 15 years, and we were able to implement a number of things at that time. We're standing directly adjacent to Lamson Woods State Preserve, and this was just part of Park and Rec, but we wanted to make it a permanent piece. Coral Swanson, the oldest daughter right here, happy birthday today to you. She was about 10 at that time, so about the size of Reed, and she went to Des Moines with us, and Governor Ray was the one that signed that in. And thanks to Stan Plum's dad, Bruce, and you folks are back now, but Bruce was a forester here in the area, and he's the one that said, you really ought to think about this. It's for perpetual, and you know it's going to be there. No streets, no buildings, it's going to be there for nature. So tip my hat to your dad's vision and us being able to implement it from there. Many things have gone into this from the original decision. George Davis was a realtor of many years here in Fairfield. We were working with their firm at the time, and he said, you know, you can do a wetland mitigation with the Iowa Department of Transportation if you buy this property, and they will reimburse, they'll make it a little bit easier for you to do this. And so Terry Abbott was the botanist from the DOT in Ames that came down, and when we walked this, it was in soybeans, and there were tadpoles that were swimming around between the soybean plants. They just sort of said, I don't want to be a crop field, I want to be a wetland. And so we were able to implement that program and move it forward. Park and Rec has also been very helpful in the management and mowing the trails. It's a joint effort between County Conservation with Dennis, Therese, and Sean on this. But the mowing, and they divide it up, but we're very thankful for cities and county support on this. One of the other things that we would do that we've carried on for generations, introduce the rest of the family. Lori, I mentioned Jamie is her husband, Spencer, and Parker is somewhere, wherever Parker might be. Over there, okay. These are our Bondurant family, and we feel very fortunate that the McGoverns, Jackson and Joseph and Molly and Mia, okay, getting close, thank you, are close friends and scouts and track and band and other activities there. Our other family, Betsy Luck over here from Oskaloosa, Kelly, and they've got two, oh, and Reed, he's right here too, and Mia is someplace. She should be chasing ducks or something over here. They have been very helpful when it comes to January. They have been directly engaged when we would go out and we have 10 duck boxes that are strategically placed out here. Unfortunately, the ice is thick enough, and these guys have been up on ladders. They've been cleaning out the mess from the previous year and putting in fresh chips so that the next generation of ducks can have a place to be. So it's been a family engagement and family commitment to make this work for there. Iowa Natural Heritage, 1979. Whoever the first president was came around and knocked on the doors of the banks in Fairfield And we had a chance for our president to gift a one-year membership to all the bank employees at that time. I think I still send money every year. I get the magazine on that. So that's been a long commitment, but we have learned from reading your communications as to how these things can happen. So we're very thankful for that opportunity. Your predecessor, Mark Ackelson, I had a chance to meet him a couple times, and now we've developed a friendship with Joe. County Conservation, you guys have helped us with Ducks Unlimited. You have helped us been able to burn this 2 years ago. We went through in this entire area. In March, we were able to do a prairie burn in a wetland, and it really helped clean out the invasives and pieces from there. I see Deetra over here. Deetra, you and your husband Sean and your boys came and you helped us clean out teasel and other invasives. Laura McCormick, one of our main advocates here in town, she has helped us and guided us along the way. So a lot of familiar faces that have put sweat equity much into the other folks that have come out and biked and walked the trail along the way too. Trail Council members that are here, thank you so much, Ron, for the vision of being able to work together and put this as a piece on there. I would be remiss if I didn't mention a very special group here, but nobody is here other than Sheri and Jamie. The Glasgow Road Mafia. You didn't know about this, did you, Ed? Or have you heard the tale? Anytime you see smoke in the southwest part of town, prairie burns, the Glasgow Road Mafia is on this. Dr. Ray Woody is a retired veterinarian. Pete Talinaire, your husband, has been directly engaged in this. Gary Roth has been our drone pilot for the last couple years on this. We reach out even farther, and we have Scott Vaughn as the chief of police, or chief of the fire department on that. But we do bring a townie. Roger Gillespie comes out. But we got a regular group, and we migrate from farm to farm or prairie to prairie, and that's one of our spring activities. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Roy Eubanks. He is the drip torch man. And as Jamie said, so he was very protected. He had to go to an appointment. As soon as he came back, he said, "Jamie, where's that drip torch?" And away he went from there. So it's been a community effort and a lot of support along the way. Most of all, thank you, Sheri. Couldn't have done it without your kid. We're out here cutting teasel, and I go, "Where is she?" And I see teasel 20 yards over, and there it's moving. I go, "That's where she is. She's somewhere underneath that teasel over there." And this is 85, 90 degrees and 70% humidity weather. But mowing the trails when the folks can't get through, she's down here. We're cutting trees, and it's been a team effort. So thank you, dear, very, very much for your effort to make this happen. This is a celebration. It's for perpetuity. It's for those who follow. I think I've read that somewhere before. And it's a real joy to be able to share this with the community. And whether you're a neighbor, as Chuck Espy is, or if you're just driving through on the trails, we're very glad that you all came out. And Rose, you said this is the first time you've been here, so thank you for picking this day. It's terrific. So, and Dave Fredericks, you helped us with a bench that's over here too, so that you and your wife can come and get the best advantage of the birds going through. Thanks, guys. Ed, would you like a moment? Please.
Let's hear another round of applause for Dave and Sheri. And for his family. I think all of you from Fairfield really recognize and understand the contribution that the Neffs have made. This is just the latest in a string of assets that Dave has been a part of securing for our community and giving. He is such a pillar, and Sheri, you're such a pillar also in getting this for our city, because it really is. It is an asset as much as anything else that we treasure and that we enjoy here in our community, and tied to this wonderful trail system that I hope we never take for granted, that we always understand what an accomplishment it was in this generation, because it is going to last for many, many generations. And the stories that we'll be able to tell about constructing this and building it and putting it all together, and the teamwork and the camaraderie and the partnerships, and now it's just for sheer enjoyment. And this stretch is one of everybody's favorites, as we know. I'm sorry I missed the early speakers. There was traffic on the Burlington Railroad Bridge. But I also want to welcome our guests from the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, of which I've been on the Board of Advisors since 2001. Yeah. So welcome to Fairfield, and thank you for being a part of this project, and thank you for coming here today. And to everyone, this again is something that we need to continue to celebrate, so share this with everyone. Make sure that we come down here and pay special attention to this area and to the great gift that it has become from the Neffs. So thank you very much.
So lots of different parts of the catkill are edible. It all depends on the time of year.
I'm gonna try some Baxter.
So, there, just nibble on the end. Pretty soon you'll notice where it's not good anymore. It gets real, you're like, oh, that's like too real hard. So, who would want to taste one? Want to taste one?
You can taste one.
Okay. You just nibble on this end.
Nibble.
Okay. What do you think? Tastes like you'll get your veggies today. It's very good with ranch.
Celery.
There you go. Did everyone get a taste of one? If you want to, up here it's not wet, so if you want to go down there and pull out those little ones, you can. Sure.
You guys don't all have to go down.
I'm just gonna go get one for you. Just saying.
What's the fun in that?
That's true. That isn't very much fun. I know. Get in there.
So Dave is pointing out an active red-headed woodpecker nest. Here's what's really cool. When I first moved to Fairfield 28 years ago, red-headed woodpeckers were really common bird at our feeders, and then like all but disappeared. You hardly saw them anymore. They were a bird of special concern. When they built Saguma and they left those trees standing in the lake and they died, all of a sudden when I was down there, I start seeing them making their nests in those trees. The other place I consistently see them now is at this wetland, which is really cool. They love those old dead standing trees in the water for their nest. So that's really nice to know that if I want to be on a search for red-headed woodpecker, for my bird list, because I'm birding all the time, this is on the first place I can come to. So you actually found an active nest. Have you seen any young?
Not yet.
They saw them maybe throwing stuff out the
They're
hole?
going in and out.
Okay.
And we live at the top of the hill, and this morning they were on our suet feeder on the deck, and I was about 12 feet away sitting in the chair, and they're starting to...
I wonder if once they start feeding birds, if you'll see them a lot more.
Yeah, we see them. Okay, can you see that?
What was that?
Well, it's in the middle of all that foliage.
Yeah,
And
see a dead tree behind there.
I can see it from here, but it's hard to describe.
It's like you got this all to yourself.
Right through there. There's just a little
circle there.
exactly.